Hi guys. So today we are going to be talking about the cost breakdown for this whole self-sponsorship process. Um just bear in mind that some of these prices are like staple prices, while some of them depends on maybe your personal circumstances, the duration of your stay, things like that. Okay, so let's go ahead. First of all, we're going to start with the cost of the OSCE booking itself. Like I said, there are 5 centers in the UK where you can do your OSCE, but the cost of registration is the exact same across board. They have different booking processes. I think each of them have their own process as to how they do their bookings, but the cost remains same across board. And the cost for booking this OSCE is £794. £794. That's the cost for booking the OSCE itself. They'll send you a confirmatory email and all that and all that. Some of them give you access to some practice materials and all those kind of things. Now, moving on, after you book your OSCE, the next thing you're going to be talking about is your visa application. Now, the visa application costs 152 for you to do your visa. After your visa, you're going to start talking about doing your biometrics. For UK visa, they make use of TLS Contact. That's their partner here in Nigeria for doing your biometrics. And TLS themselves has a number of centers across the nation, across Nigeria. They have two in Lagos Ikeja, Lagos VI. They have in Abuja. They have in Port Harcourt. They have in Enugu. For the Abuja and Ikeja center, there is no extra costs attached per se, aside the regular text message cost, delivery for them to return your passport to you after your visa decision has been made, and maybe if you want assisted service, premium lounge, all those things. But there is no extra cost to it. For Lagos VI, if you want to make use of the Lagos VI center, you're going to pay extra £55 to make use of the Lagos VI center to do your biometrics. Now, for Port Harcourt and Enugu, these are new centers they just opened, and they are premium centers. They're called premium centers. It's not really, it's a new place. It's not crowded. It's not that kind of overly stressful and everything. But for you to make use of the Port Harcourt and Enugu center, it costs an extra £250. That's aside your visa fee. It costs an extra £250 for you to make use of the Port Harcourt and Enugu center. And to be quite honest, when you look at the cost of logistics, the stress, the time involved for those based in the southeast, for those in Port Harcourt, Bayelsa, and all that, the cost of flights now, the cost of local flights, the cost of hotel, the cost of everything, the security situation in the country, you realize that sometimes it's just do close your eye, do your this thing, your whether you're closer to Enugu or you're closer to Port Harcourt, you make your choice, you do one of the two. Now, for those, I've gotten quite a number of questions on this. Please, UK does not do interview unless maybe you're doing a separate, but for this pathway, there is no interview in it. Unless maybe they call you up for something, they need an extra documentation or they need clarification on something you have applied for. But on a normal, you're not doing any interview. For your biometrics, basically what biometrics is you go there, you do your thumbprinting, you do your they take a photograph of you and all those kind of things. So now essentially there are two types of document submission when it comes to the visa application. One is self-service. With the self-service, it is expected that you upload your documents before coming to the center for your biometrics. You do your document upload via your portal, your TLS account. That is the self-service. Then assisted service, for you to do assisted, it's an extra cost for the assisted service. I think it's about 20 something K for the assisted service. That is, you go with all your documents to the center, to the biometric center, and they will help you do the upload themselves. Ideally, you carry your originals and then maybe some other things like your cover letter and all that you need to print out. You print everything out, you take the hard copies, you go to the center. So that is what it is for assisted service. Something to bear in mind is that aside your visa fee, once you create your TLS account for your biometrics, everything you choose has a fee attached to it. If you want the premium lounge, you're going to pay. The premium lounge is, you're in a less crowded area. They put you in a lounge. I think they serve you some whatever compliments and all that. You're not crowded, you're not stressed, you have your own assistants and all that. You don't go through all that hassle and pushing crowd and everything. That is for premium lounge. For prime time pretty much means if you cannot come in during working hours or working days. Say for example, maybe if the center closes by 3 p.m. and you cannot come until 4 or 5, or maybe you cannot come unless it's a Saturday, then you can pay for prime time. I don't know if they still offer that as at the moment of speaking, but it is an option. Then there is also something they call flexi means you can come at any time on your appointed date. Say for example, if your appointment is tomorrow, you can come in at any time. There is no stipulated appointment time. You can come in at any time for the whole of tomorrow, so long as it's within working hours. Do you understand? So that is just it. And then the premium centers, that's Port Harcourt and Enugu, there. It's not much crowded because, quite honestly, a lot of people don't even know that there is biometric center in Port Harcourt and there's one in Enugu. So it's not so crowded. And then because of the cost to the £250 on top of it, a lot of people don't necessarily use it. So it's less crowded, it's less stressful. You're attended to on time, you just walk in, you do your stuff and you leave. That is for Port Harcourt and Enugu. The Port Harcourt Biometric Center is at Hotel Presidential on Aba Road. I believe if you're Port Harcourt based, it's not a location that you can miss. It's at Hotel Presidential on Aba Road. For the Enugu place, I'm not really conversant with that area, but all the addresses are listed on the TLS website, so you can go and check and confirm. That is it. Now, after your biometrics, you're going to now talk about cost of accommodation. Now, um, there are two things when it comes to accommodation for your process in the UK. One of it is you can have somebody who can accommodate you, that is a friend, a family, whatever. That is you have somebody who's going to accommodate you. But if you don't have, then that means you're either going to book a hotel or you're going to book an Airbnb, something thereabout. You get. And these things have they range, it depends on the location. It depends on the location. Places like Ulster, accommodation around that area is a bit more on the higher side than the regular or the other ones. You get. So you're going to talk about booking either Airbnb or you book a hotel. You have to check the prices across the number of days you want to stay. You book it. It is ideal that you book this accommodation before your, as in you use it during your visa application, you include it in the documents, because if you don't have somebody you're going to stay with and there is no proof that you have an accommodation where you're actually going to stay, it is one reason for your application to be denied, because you cannot go and be homeless in the streets of UK. You understand? So that is it's not a fixed price. Different hotels have different prices, different areas have different prices. So it can range from £40 a day to 50 to 60. It just depends. You check across board the number of days you want and you make your booking. Then we talk about feeding. If you have a place you're going to stay, that means your cost of feeding is covered, and believe you me, it saves you a lot of cost, a lot of stress, because the exchange rate is not smiling. It's not smiling at all. By the time you want to go and buy maybe a plate of rice and they tell you it's £4, you now think about, how much is £4 in naira again? Your liver will cut. You understand that kind of thing. So if you can find a place you can stay, the better, or the much more better for you. But aside that, you're going to want to budget. I think almost it depends on what you want to eat anyway. That is personal choices, like I said, personal preferences. Now you talk about flight tickets. This one, it varies in a lot of ways. First of all, by the airline. The cost of Qatar Airways and the cost of Royal Air Maroc is not the same, obviously. And then the duration before your flight date. Say, for example, if I am flying towards the end of this month and I had already booked my ticket since December, it would have been way cheaper for me. Do you understand? Or let me put it this way: if I want to travel during Valentine's Day and I book my tickets today, it will be a lot more cheaper. Not a lot more, but it's going to be way cheaper for me. Say, for example, I could get it for maybe 1.1 million or 1 million on the dot. This is example, this is circumspect. But if you wait, or maybe because of your visa application or something thereabouts, you're going to book it towards the end of the month against Valentine, obviously it's going to be more expensive. So the closer to the travel date it is, the more expensive the flight is. Now, when it comes to flights, this is very essential. There are certain airlines you're going to use that will require you to get a transit visa. Say for example, especially airlines that their layovers are in European countries and then the Americans, you're definitely going to need a transit visa. For example, airlines like KLM, airlines like Lufthansa, airlines like Air France, all them, you're going to need layover because the countries where they are going to stop. It depends anyway. Some countries, some airlines have the requirement of if your layover is less than maybe 2 hours and you're confined to a particular area of the airport, you can, just go without your transit visa. But not all airlines are willing to carry you if you do not have that transit visa because sometimes they believe that person is a flight risk. You understand? So it is ideal that you choose an airline that their places of layover will not require you to get a transit visa because transit visa on its own is another cost. And the fact that you have a visa for your destination and you have your flight ticket does not even guarantee you the transit visa. So typically you're going to want to go for airlines that you don't need a transit visa. Say for example, airline like Qatar Airways, Ethiopian Air, Royal Air Maroc, a couple of them you don't need transit visa because the places they lay over are not, you can transit without the visa and everything. So these are all things that influences the cost of your flight and your travel. It differs. And okay, that's just about that. And then we come to the proof of fund. Now, the UK does not give a stipulated amount for proof of fund because personal circumstances differ, you know. So sometimes your ideal proof of fund is dependent on your circumstances, is dependent on your duration of stay, is dependent on a whole lot of things. Say for example, they would tell you that when you're calculating your proof of fund, yeah, you should look at if you don't have accommodation, if you don't have a place you're going to stay, then you're looking at roughly £100 per day because obviously you need to pay your hotel unless you've pre-booked your hotel. That will be sorted out, you know. So now if you have your accommodation sorted out, you're looking at roughly £50 per day because obviously you have to eat, you have to, basic expenses, water, drinks, whatever it is 30 to £50 per day. Now you multiply that by the number of days you want to stay, but it does not always work that way. That counting by the day does not necessarily work. The thing is, you just need to have enough money, a reasonable amount of money that you're going to have in your account that will sustain you during your stay. Or another way is the quoted amount in your visa application. Say, for example, you quote that you're going to spend £2,000 in your visa application. You should have at least two times that amount in your account. Like I said, it is not stipulated there is no particular format to it. It's just based off of your personal circumstances. That's why I say visa application is not just about go online and fill your details. There's a lot of mathematics that goes into it. There's a lot of calculation, there's a lot of planning, there's a lot of arrangement that goes into your visa application so that you don't get refused. Which is why I say find somebody who knows about this process or who knows visa application process to do your this thing for you so that you don't have to spend two times that amount. So that is pretty much it for proof of fund. Now, I see a lot of people that get confused about sponsorship. If you have a sponsor, whether that person is based, in fact, first of all, your sponsor can be family, your sponsor can be a friend, your sponsor can be as in so long as you have a connection to that person, so long as you know that person in some sort of way, that person can be your sponsor. Now, there are certain requirements for somebody to be a sponsor. Obviously, that person has to be a legal resident in the UK. That person has to have a home in, like, not own a home. That person has to have a place where they stay in the UK. They have to be resident in the UK. That person has to have a source of income. They're not doing anything illegal in the UK. They don't have any criminal convictions or something thereabouts. So those are basic requirements, and that person have to have enough fund to sustain both his or herself and then you, the visitor that is going to be sponsored. Because you can't not have money and then you want to go and sponsor somebody else. It doesn't make sense. You get. So even if you have a sponsor, if you're saying you're employed, then you need to have some money in your own account too. You cannot just want to present yourself empty handed. You need to have small money in your own account too. Then you can always use your sponsor to augment. So I think this is pretty much the sum. Okay, and then God forbid, in a situation that you don't make your OSCE on the first try. There are two types of fail in OSCE. There's something they call a partial fail and then a full fail. A partial fail is when you fail any number of stations from 7 downwards. That's if you fail 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're going to pay £397. That is exactly half the cost of booking the OSCE. You're going to pay £397. But if you fail anything from 8 to 10, you're going to have to repay the whole £794 to rebook the OSCE. You have 3 chances to do your ski. So God forbid, because believe you me, the mental stress, the financial stress and everything is not easy, but just in case anything can happen at any time. Because OSCE is a very meticulous exam. It follows a strict checklist, like the marking criteria and all that, and they are very strict with it. So it's not that one of if you can score at least 50. No, it doesn't work that way. You have a marking criteria you're working with, and you're expected to tick all the boxes to show competence in it. So your OSCE, there is a receipt for there's a partial receipt and there is a full receipt. The partial receipt is £397, and then a full receipt, 8 to 10 stations, is the full £794. So after you do your OSCE, you talk about uh the final application fee for NMC UK. That's the £153. Typically, I tell people this, that they should pay before the OSCE examination, so that once your result comes out, it's just straight to doing your assessment and getting your pin, so that there will be no delay or anything. Just you submit your IELTS, you submit your whatever it is, all them health requirements, health checks and all that, and then pay the £153, so that the moment your result just comes out, it's ahead. Your pin is the next thing you're looking out for. So I think that is pretty much all it is for now. Just in case of, if you need any extra information, if you need a private consultation, if you need assistance with any international payment, or you need help with your visa application, you can reach me via the contact details that are written on the flyer that will display at the end of this video. So I know this video is that's been a long one, but I hope and I believe that it has been informative to all of us and has answered some of our questions regarding this process. Ciao, bye.